Lordy. The news is live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, all social media platforms and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Our headlines this are: massive rallies and last-minute engagement as candidates hit a home run with their campaigns 7 days before the election.
Yeah, NDC, Beba. Hey.
70,000 people will be recruited into the National Health Service. I'm here because I have a purpose to deliver you.
We'll get the update from our correspondent on the ground. Also, the Electoral Commission reassures no rigging in the election with over 100,000 domestic and international observers covering the process.
For both the NPP and the NDC, you have almost 80,000, 1,500 agents, the largest number of observer groups. And now we are hinching towards almost 20,000.
More as the EC grant 4,500 media access for constituency regional resort collation. Now in business, Food and Beverages Association laments import raw materials affecting businesses, calls for support for SMEs in agriculture.
We need a policy that will give them that direction to ensure that they take at least 60% of what we produce locally and feed it into the fruit juices that we produce.
JoyNews is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Thank you for choosing us. Now we're just a week to go until the December polls. NPP flag bearer Dr. Bawumia is intensifying his campaign in the Eastern region, a key stronghold of the party, as he seeks to rally support from voters. Today, the vice president has been touring the region, engaging directly with resident traditional leaders and party loyalists. His agenda includes addressing community gatherings, holding strategic meetings with chiefs and opinion leaders, and highlighting the NPP government policies and achievements. In the Guan Constituency, the NPP flag bearer urged the chiefs and people of the newly created constituency in the OT region to vote massively for the NPP to help bring development to the area.
So I want you to hand over the steer to me so that I can take the vehicle and we move with it forward. We'll move forward. So I am running and our parliamentary candidate, we are both in number one. Michael Osibo is our parliamentary candidate. We are both number one. We want you to give us the opportunity to work for you. The NPP has you at heart. We created the OT region. After so many cries, years, we have created the OT region. We have created the Guan district and the Guan. So we are the people who we have given birth to this baby, and we want to take care of this baby. We want to take care of this baby. Give us the opportunity. We have a major interest in Guan. We want to do the work we have started. We know it's because of development that you wanted your own region, because of development that you wanted your own district. We have given it to you. So give us the chance to bring you the development. Give us the chance to bring you the development.
'Cause 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 Now it's a good time to take you to Dr. Bawumia's activities in the Eastern region and get the latest update. My colleague Kenneth Ejesi is on the ground with the campaign team and joins me live. Kenneth, what can you tell us about the Vice President's tour since morning, and how have residents been responding to his messages?
Well, today the Vice President is expected in 3 constituencies. So far, he's done 2. That is Afram Plains South and New Drabin North, where we currently are. He began his day from Afram Plains South at a community called Tiase, where he inspected an ongoing work on the building of a mosque there. Of course, he used the ferry. And then from there, he went to another community in that same constituency called Mame Krobo. That is where he told the people in that area that he sees the entire constituency having the potential of being the food basket of the country because of the arable lands they have there. And he said that a lot of work has begun to ensure that that is done, and has encouraged them to vote for the new patriotic party come December 7th. It is interesting to note that in that particular constituency, the NPP has never won the parliamentary seat there. As we speak now, we're currently at Efidrase in the New Drabin North constituency. Behind me is the Presbyterian Church, where Dr. Bawumia is engaging the Christian community and the community leaders here in this area. From here, we are going to New Drabin South, also in the Eastern region, and then we'll move to the Ashanti region. The reception has been very good. Mind you, the Eastern region and the Ashanti region are 2 of the strongest holds of the new patriotic party. So he's trying to make inroads and make his final pitch to the people in these 2 regions, because if they vote massively for the new patriotic party, the party believes that they could be 1 footstep into retaining their seat in the Jubilee House.
Response from the those he's been speaking to have been so great on the ground.
Yes, it has been. Actually, I have one person here who wants to say a word or 2. Gentlemen, please come close. Drabin North Hanum. You say you buy anaju the so so ukuta t-shirt. I didn't hear.
Ni najina ya papa Bawumia so. Tina ya wa. Yeah.
Na edi enti na mo pese mutuma Bawumia.
Won say onu de wa be vice da wacha say ina de no so oso di ntuma na de na be den ebeba. Nti wa me yenya vi mama no say oba obe yenya ma bebre aman. Say so e pese vote ma.
Ama for say man ni mu ayeden. Mu hu ne sa.
Oh, really mbo mama ne de ya hwe mu ayeden.
Ba hu say Bawumia betima ba ama ni ma mu ayemre.
Oh, on the boss na wa na de ni na betumi ama bibia.
Okay, me da se bebre. Also be so be ke bibia na.
De me ni na ka no eno ano no, but de me sra ba ne wono say omo ba enwuma ne de omo bia bi ma youth no yeso enya adwuma ne ye tena geto ache. Enti no omo bi enwuma ne nya bi nye. Me no say ba me aba so dia enwuma ne beba.
Okay. Me da say Carlos, so these are 2 of the supporters who have thronged this place. Inside there, it's very noisy. That's why we've not entered. But you see a lot of people gathered inside this church, throwing their support behind NPP's flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia. And I will explain briefly what he said. He says he's throwing his weight behind the president or the vice president because he feels he's the right person to lead this country right now. I asked him, does he feel that there are difficulties as of now? He said, yes, he does feel that there are difficulties, but he believes that Dr. Bawumia is the right man to lead this country at this particular moment. So these are the events that are happening here. From here, we're going straight to New Drabin South, Carlos.
And that just is my colleague here in the JoyNews room. Now, on the flip side, the NDC presidential candidate John Mahama has started a 6-day campaign in the NPP stronghold, the Ashanti region. As the campaign reaches its home stretch, some weeks ago, he met with the clergy and members of the creative art industry in the region. Around this time, he will take the campaign outdoors as it enters the final stretch. Now speaking to the crowd in Kumasi, he urged them to turn out in their numbers and vote for the NDC. Now let's take you live to the ground to speak to my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. Maxwell, where are you and what can you report?
Well, the NDC presidential candidate is currently here in the Ifijap Kwabri East constituency, where he's currently addressing party faithful. But John Mahama began his Ashanti region tour in the Ejura Chechere Dumase constituency, one of the 4 parliamentary seats held by the NDC in the region. We know the NPP holds 42 of the 47 seats here. Now, at the Ejura Chechere Dumase, he visited the Mampon and the Suta constituencies. He criticized the governing NPP for neglecting the Ashanti region, saying that their complacency stems from the belief that the region will always support them regardless of their performance. He urged residents to reject this complacency and demand better governance. He said the NDC is committed to equitable development. He referenced the party's improvement of water supply in Mampon, ensuring access to potable drinking water for residents, even in areas, he says, are outside the party's stronghold. He said the NDC is committed to improving the free SSS policy and will not control it. He promised a future NDP government would drastically reduce the cost of performing the hard scholars.
All right, so when next are you going?
Well, there are 2 more spots that he's going to visit before he wraps up the first day of the tour of the Ashanti region. Remember, it's a 6-day tour, and he's going to be campaigning until Thursday, Carlos.
How would you describe the reception he's receiving in that region, knowing that that's a stronghold of the NPP?
Well, we saw the biggest turnout in the Ejura Chechere Dumase constituency. Like I mentioned earlier, it is one of the 4 seats held by the NDC, here in the Ashanti region. So you would say that it wasn't surprising that hundreds of supporters actually turned up at that particular rally. Many of them turned up to the extent that there was really no place for some of them to stand. They had to stand in front of shops and others just to catch a glimpse of the NDC presidential candidate. But even driving through the Ashanti region, driving through communities like Mampon and in Suta, occasionally you will find people dressed in the party paraphernalia, some of them making their sign of change, and sometimes you get him bringing down his car window, waving at them and urging them on to vote for the NDC on December 7th. Some of the people who have been interacting with here have telling me that they think that the NDP has been complacent with priority.
All right. Okay.
Of the people.
All right.
Here is rated. And
Thank
they
you.
that on 7th December, they would actually make their point with their tongue.
All right. Thank you so much, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba, on the campaign, journey with, the former president, John Dramani Mahama. Meanwhile, the stage is set for a showdown in the capital as both the NDC and the NPP prepare to hold their final rallies on Thursday, December 5, 2024, marking climax of their intense month-long campaigns. The NPP will cap off its nationwide campaign with a possibility victory rally at the University of Ghana Stadium at 1 p.m. The rally will feature key party stalwarts, including President Nana Akufo-Addo and former President John Agyekum Kufuor, who are expected to address the gathering in a bid to energize supporters for a decisive victory. Meanwhile, the NDC will also hold its final rally at Zurak Park in Medina, in Accra, kicking off at 12 noon under the theme, Resetting Ghana, Let's Finish Strong. This event is set to galvanize the party's supporters as they emphasize their vision for Ghana's future and rally for a strong finish. Well, it appears that Thursday promises to be a day of high energy and grand displays as both parties make their last push to sway voters. Well, you're still watching JoyNews Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Now, welcome back. The Electoral Commission is reassuring that the involvement of over 100,000 election observers will leave no room for rigging. The EC's reassurance is in response to calls for vigilance to prevent any compromise in the electoral process. Dr. Bosman Asari is Deputy Commissioner in charge of corporate services. He spoke on his file.
In this election on December 7th, we are using 40,648 polling stations. We know the NPP and the NDC, they are contesting the parliamentary elections in all the 276 constituencies. So the NPP is going to have 40,648 agents for their parliamentary candidates at all the polling stations. And for the presidential election, the NPP and the NDC, they are going to have 40,648 agents, and they will also have backups. So what that means is that for both the NPP and the NDC, you have almost 1,500 agents simultaneously at all the polling stations.
You don't have people doubling up as for the constituency election and for the presidential as well?
No, you don't have people. For the NPP and the NDC, you don't have. Yeah,
right.
Even beyond that, in this election 2024, I think this is going to be the election where we are going to witness the largest number of observer groups. And now we are hinching towards almost 20,000.
Now, into some business story. The Food Beverage Association of Ghana is bemoaning the rate at which imported raw materials have displaced locally produced ones taking over the market. According to General Secretary Sam Agri, more support should be given to local researchers and SMEs to help produce raw materials locally at an affordable rate to aid the industry. He spoke to Joy Business at the African Center of Economic Transformation Private Sector Development Program.
An area like where we have our fruits, the pineapple, the cashew nuts that they talked about, the mangoes. These are areas that we can bring in investors to set up the concentrates, to produce a facility to produce the concentrates, and then store them and give it to our beverage industry for them to put them into fruit juices. We need a policy that will give them that direction to ensure that they take at least 60% of what we produce locally and feed it into the fruit juices that we produce. There's no need to import everything because we have the solutions here. When we put this processing into proper perspective, we'll have them and we can also export into other.
Well, that's all we have time for here on JoyNews Prime. We have a lot more stories on myjoyonline.com. My name is Carlos Caloni. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening.